15 people are reported to have been killed and 130 injured in a Russian attack on a shopping centre in central Ukraine. President Zelensky said there were 2 separate strikes on the building, calling that absolutely cynical and despicable. Well, Dan Johnson is live in Kyiv with the latest. Just bring us up to date, Dan.
Yes, this appears to be a really clear example of what is known as the double tap attack. The first drone hit this shopping centre in Kryvyi Rih at mid-afternoon, causing a fire. And then about half an hour later, there's footage of a second drone. It appears to be a jet-powered Shahed diving from the sky. You can hear machine gun fire as Ukrainian air defences desperately try to shoot it down, but they are unsuccessful. It hits the building and there is another explosion and further damage, destruction and loss of life. President Zelensky, who is actually from Kryvyi Rih himself, called this a cynical and despicable attack that had waited half an hour for emergency workers to come to that scene to try to help the wounded before striking again. Some of the pictures in the aftermath are too upsetting to show. 15 people reported to have been killed, 130 injured. 23 of those, we are told, are children. Now, there's going to be an investigation into why that shopping centre was still open, why families could still be there in the middle of the afternoon when an air raid alert had been issued. But it wasn't the only Russian drone attack today. There were 4 deaths in Mykolaiv. 3 of those were also children. This all exposes the vulnerability of Ukraine's air defences, not just against Russian missiles, but also against drone attacks.
All right, Dan, thank you. Dan Johnson live in Kyiv. And in Russia, repeated Ukrainian drone attacks on oil and gas supplies are having a real and visible impact, with long queues at the petrol pumps and fuel shortages. It's particularly bad in the capital, Moscow, where drivers are waiting for hours to fill their cars. Attacking energy infrastructure is an important tactic for both sides, with Russia hitting Ukrainian power plants and Ukraine repeatedly targeting Russian oil refineries and depots, including one facility today. Kyiv's aim is to bring home the true costs of the conflict to ordinary Russians, as Steve Rosenberg reports now from Moscow.
To fill up with petrol right now in Moscow, you need 2 things: a lot of time and an awful lot of patience. The petrol queues seem to go on forever. Fuel shortages have been reported in many parts of Russia, the result of Ukrainian drone strikes on Russian oil facilities.
Well, I've never seen petrol queues in Moscow this long before. The petrol pumps are actually 300 meters or so down the road. The drivers are saying that it's taking them about 2.5 hours to get to the front of the queue. But at least here, there is petrol.
In other places, they've run out. They say there will be petrol here, Svyatoslav tells me. They just don't know when. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. To ease the fuel crisis, Russia is now importing petrol. Extraordinary for an energy superpower. The strikes on oil refineries have been going on for months. Ukraine's response to Russian attacks. Increasingly, this war is coming home to Russians.
This is not a real, normal, peaceful life. This permanent feeling of anxiety is with everyone right now. You feel that something is wrong. It means anxiety now is the main sentiment.
They're low on petrol, but not on patriotism. Not here. Around the corner from the petrol station, we see this effort to rally Russians around the flag. Literally, a celebration for Russian Flag Day, complete with candy floss and Kalashnikovs, and a whole lot more for the whole family. No dwelling here on what Russia's short of. Weapons, it has aplenty. This patriotic presentation is lifting some people's spirits. Difficulties unite us, pensioner Tatiana tells me. The harder things are, the stronger we get. Angelina is worried by Ukrainian drones at night. When you go to sleep, she says, you never know if you'll wake up in the morning. Even patriotic fervour cannot make that fear disappear. Steve Rosenberg, BBC News, Moscow.